Welcome to another episode of the Fantasy Rabbit Hole podcast. I am your host, CSD Fantasy. Hello, Fantasy Faithfuls, and welcome to another episode of the Fantasy Rabbit Hole podcast. My name is CSD Fantasy, and I'm flanked by the one and only Nick Favor and the Coin Master, and I'm forgetting his new nickname, Matt Williams. How are y'all doing?
What is my other one? Was it Man of the People?
Yes, Man of the People. Man of the People, Matt Williams.
How do you know how I got that, to be honest? How did I even get that?
I think you just took that, like, I am a man of the people.
Someone called me that, and I don't remember. I'll remember.
It was during the draft. You said something.
I don't know.
What was that crazy pick you predicted for the NFL draft?
I predicted the Ruggs. Yeah, Ruggs would go first wide receiver. Well, I didn't predict it. I just told everyone that at minus 450, it was a really great bet. And then some people made a ton of money off of it. So you're welcome.
Yeah, and I feel like you were the man of the people in that spot.
Just to give everyone an idea of what that bet paid out, I ended up putting down $75 on that bet and won near $750.
What?
Yeah, I ended up paying up pretty good.
This is why I don't bet, people. This is why I don't bet, because you can win money. When
the Raiders have a top pick, you can bet on crazy.
That's what I'm saying. They drafted Clelin Ferrell 4th overall last year. And Damon Arnett in the first round this year. Come on, Oakland. We don't. Them in Seattle, or Las Vegas, excuse me. But Las Vegas and Seattle, the two teams that are going to draft the most wildest first-round picks, unpredictable draft picks.
Although I got to say, this isn't old school Raiders when they were taking in totally insane picks. I do trust Mayock to a degree that these may work. These may work out. I still wouldn't have taken Ruggs. I think that's, out of anyone taken in the first round, if I had to put money on a bust, it's probably him, even though I think he could still be fine, but that was risky.
It's so much like we're scared of Tyreek Hill. We need speed.
Yeah.
Well, that could be it. But they have speed with Tyrell. Tyrell isn't that slow. That's for damn sure.
Compared to Tyreek, he is.
Not really, though. Tyreek's faster than him, but I don't think he's that. Tyrell's pretty fast. And he had Henry Ruggs. It just doesn't seem like a good fit. I don't know. It seems like Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb would have just been that Keenan Allen type player while you had Tyrell running down the field.
CeeDee would have been a good fit anywhere. He's
except
you know what the best thing. You'll obviously get into the Cowboys soon, but my favorite part of that was the FU to Philly. You want a wide receiver? We don't need a wide receiver. Fuck you. We're taking a wide receiver.
That's literally worth. If he's terrible, it's even just for that FU moment of, you thought we were going Chase on? No. Here we go. Let's go with the guy you wanted. We don't even care.
You guys didn't even interview him, right? There wasn't even they said they didn't even assume he would never ever make it there.
It's
because the firewall for the third was the Broncos, right?
Right.
No
15.
mock had the third wide receiver going past the Broncos.
It was insane, and I sat there and I've been saying they're gonna go Chase on. We're boring. We always go need over anything because it's not best player available. We always talk Karlton. We need a pass rusher, and then I'm sitting there did this happen? Did this really happen? Yeah. Are we going 40? I think I wrote that. We're doing 40 points week in and week out. We don't even
Mike
care.
McCarthy made the pick. I don't know if anyone was watching the draft where they zoomed in on everyone else is with their family, way back here. McCarthy's I don't know if you Google
Jerry Jones was on a yacht.
I couldn't believe it. The whole draft. All 3 days. Dude. All 3 days.
He's living life on the.
He probably wasn't even out on the water. He's probably docked.
Guaranteed he was docked. Guarantee it. My life on it.
He's social distancing. I'm gonna distance everything. Let me get on a boat. It's you, me, and T-Pain.
Boats and hoes.
By the way, we have a request from the chat that Nick takes off the hat and shows the haircut.
Oh yeah, boys, Peaky Blinders.
I thought they just hated your hat.
Oh, that's fine. No,
they want to see the haircut.
I actually got this hat about 8 years ago when I went as Vance Bag, or what's his name? Damn it, the Legend of Bagger Vance. And so I had to buy the hat. It was
I haven't
awesome.
seen that movie. I
it
need
plays
to see
into the
that.
Peaky Blinders look, boys. I went zeros all the way down and just left the top.
You just did that yourself?
No, I have a buddy staying with me, so he helped me out with it.
Yeah,
I
Nick
actually
is
did
not
his
one of
hair
the people.
into a mohawk after he did my Peaky Blinder look.
So for everybody who's listening in afterwards, Google Peaky Blinders or check us out on YouTube, and you'll see Nick looking fantastic in his new haircut. I did not go as short, but my wife did this for me. We are not one of the people out protesting with the signs, "I need a haircut." We figured out that it's possible to do that in the house. I didn't know if y'all knew that was something you could do, but we did that. No, but the CeeDee Lamb, I was shocked. I was shocked. He was my favorite wide receiver. I thought for sure that he was going to the Broncos when the Raiders did not pick him, for sure. And especially like you had the Jets too that I felt could have gone wide receiver, and instead they went O-line, which they also needed. That was something we've discussed earlier on the preview show, but I'm just super hype, and then get Trevon Diggs later on. Like you just don't get Trevon Diggs at that time. I really thought it was impossible to get him that late.
There you go.
That late in the draft. For everybody who's listening in, we're now showing Peaky Blinders on the screen. This is definitely what Nick modeled his haircut from. Let's see in the chat who wore it better, the guy from Batman or Nick?
The guy from Batman.
I don't know his name.
Cillian Murphy, better known as the Scarecrow from Batman.
Yeah, see, the guy who tried to kill Joffrey. I know those weird references. But Nick made it popular. He's the one who made it popular, according to the chat. They copied him. No, but Matt, how do you feel about the Packers draft? You must be elated. Elated.
So, all right. I never imagined in a million years we'd take a quarterback. I really didn't. Well, this early. I thought Jalen Hurts was a possibility in the 4th round, maybe the 3rd round, maybe when the draft started. It comes up and then everyone starts to go, and there's some people that are like dropping in the draft. Patrick Queen's dropping in the draft. The Packers move up. We're getting Patrick Queen. I think I said to you guys in the chat, let's go. We're getting Patrick Queen. If this is Bryce Love, I'm going to throw my TV out the window. And of course, it's Bryce Love. There was reports out that, that they obviously, this was some kind of a power move to show Aaron Rodgers who's boss. I mean, I know that, you don't draft for Aaron Rodgers, you draft for the team, but Aaron Rodgers is the team.
Yeah.
And they need to understand that they're at the end of a window to win a Super Bowl. They were a game away, which a lot of people would argue we were more than a game away in reality because a lot of people didn't think we deserved to be there. And I do, but we were nowhere in the same class as the 49ers. It was just it was a crapshoot to get to where we were, but we were still a game away. You needed to fill holes, not create them. And obviously they did nothing but rebuild. You take Bryce Love, who I like. I am glad to have him. I mean, I think that if you were going to take a gamble on someone, he's the guy. There was a report out there that there's some people that would have loved to have taken him earlier. There were some teams that were certainly pissed that we got him, but it was weird that we did. I say we, the Packers. I don't actually work for them. A.J. Dillon, another weird thing. I mean, there was plenty of great wide receivers available. I like Dillon. He's great. He's probably going to be a valuable piece, especially if LaFleur's trying to turn the Packers into the Vikings. A lot of people want to maybe dismiss the pick. He's going to be valuable probably right out of the gate. They're going to use him a bunch. Williams and Jones are going to be free agents at the end of 21. So he's probably, with the way turnover is a running back, it's probably not bad. But again, Love and Dillon, trade Aaron Rodgers because you're not playing for the next 2 years. What are you doing? 25 or 26 wide receivers are drafted. None by the Packers. We get to the 3rd round. Our 3rd pick. Who do we take? A tight end that we're going to use at fullback. I don't get it. I mean, it's great news for Jay Sternberger, who should be, again, this tight end we use, he's going to be used as a fullback. Sternberger will be the tight end. Maybe even used out of the slot sometimes now. So great news for him.
Great
So
news
just
for dynasty owners with Jay Sternberger.
they didn't even bring. They did not end up drafting a wide receiver. 0. The Packers, and they didn't even really bring in any undrafted free agents. I think one, and what pretty much one of the worst ones available. No offense. So very weird drafts. As far as dynasty goes, I can't even think of his name now because I never even thought he'd be a real part of the team. Who's the guy we even signed from the Colts? Free agent.
Evan Funchess, baby.
Funchess.
He literally he's value now. Everyone's like, well, who's that third wide receiver you want? Our second wide receiver? I mean, you got Alan Lazard, who...
That didn't work out too well last year, though.
He's fine, but if you want to take a gamble, I think it is Funchess. He's the big body.
I'm gambling. I'm doubling down on MVS, especially now that I can, instead of having to draft him in the 10th round, I can draft him in the 17th round. I'll gladly double down on him.
I'm probably not investing anywhere. One guy I would say not to forget about is Equanius St. Brown, who never got his feet off the ground last year. People just forget he exists. If you're taking a dart throw at the very end, I'd say he's as good a shot as any, especially if you're in a deep league.
Drafted before Alan Lazard.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of guys. We'll see if there makes a trade because Mike Evans' name was thrown out there. Curtis Samuel's name was thrown out there. A lot of names could be available, especially with Robbie Anderson being added to the Panthers and Tyler Johnson, and I know they added someone else down there in Tampa Bay. There could be movement, but overall, very confusing draft for the Green Bay Packers. Very, very weird.
Everyone was loading up on offense, and the Packers
we didn't even load up on defense.
You loaded up on backup offensive players.
Yeah,
it's important.
Yeah. We had 3 really good positions filled. We had quarterback filled, we had running back filled, and wide receiver 1. We did nothing else to rectify us having another string. And
I think one of the funniest tweets I've seen is the tweet. I know, Matt, you saw it. I saw it before, and I'm pretty sure Carl had seen it. The amount of first round, or what is it? Amount of touchdowns thrown to first round drafted wide receivers. List was 300 for Brady.
These are the top 10 quarterbacks of all time.
And Breeze, yeah, exactly. Montana, Young, all these, and then Aaron Rodgers with 1.
Yeah.
But my question is, who is that one? I don't know if anyone knows that. It's a tough question to figure out. Probably won't be able to figure it out live on the air right now. But it'd be fun. Anyone in the chat, if you can Google it while we're sitting here bullshitting about the draft and how good the Packers did. If you can figure out who was the one wide receiver drafted in the first round who caught a touchdown from Aaron Rodgers?
James Jones?
No.
He caught way more than 1 touchdown. That's for damn sure.
It was the top 10 all-time passing touchdown leaders. Literally in order: Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, Brett Favre, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Dan Marino, Fran Tarkenton, Big Ben, Phillip Rivers, and Aaron Rodgers. That's not the order in which they are touchdown, but these are the amount of first-round draft picks they've thrown to. Peyton, 293, Eli, 135, Brett, 127, Tom Brady, 105, Breeze, 104, Marino, 84, Fran, 74, Big Ben, 69, Phillip Rivers, 35, and Aaron Rodgers, 1.
Which is the big surprising thing, too, is like Tom Brady. Everyone, if you said Tom Brady, first-round wide receivers, they'd say, no, Patriots don't get any first-round wide receivers, but they had Randy Moss. You know what I mean? He's a first-round wide receiver.
Brandon Cooks, they traded for a first-round pick.
But
that wasn't like a massive
thing.
Cooks
wasn't a first-round draft pick.
Yeah, but they gave up a first-round to get him.
But okay, yeah, so you're agreeing. Like the same thing, exactly. The Patriots give up a little bit more. As much as everyone wants to say Tom Brady never has assets around him, seems like Aaron Rodgers literally never ever once. Everyone wants to talk, but I'm going to keep saying it. Never.
Hey, not to mention no tight ends, no pass catching running backs.
I mean,
Aaron Jones is pretty good.
Randall Cobb and Jordy Nelson was kind of a great duo there for a while.
Yeah, but a 7th round and a 5th round.
I mean, no, they were manufactured though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
Like look at Greg. I mean, and plenty of them. I mean, I love Jordy. I love Greg Jennings. Mm-hmm. When they left, they were nothing. No offense to them, they were older. But they were poof gone.
Greg Jennings in Minnesota, was it? And Jordy in Oakland. Just neither of them.
Yeah. Randall to the Cowboys.
Oh, although remember when Jordy left, he had that week 1. I think that massive touchdown. Everyone's like, "Whoa!" And then it was just a one-time deal. But poor Jordy.
I love Jordy. I love Brett Favre. I love that Green Bay always has the country boys, man. They're just sitting on their tractor in the offseason every time. It's great.
It's funny. This is the same thing that happened with Brett Favre. He really wanted them to go after Randy Moss, and he ended up going to New England. It's pissed him off that they wouldn't do it, and they never drafted him. Everyone. I mean, remember the guys he weren't rolled with. I mean, Sterling Sharp was there when he first got there, but after that, Antonio Freeman, Robert Brooks. I mean,
Freeman because of that Monday night catch. Oh no, yeah, that was Freeman. Yeah, that Monday night catch.
And these guys were good, but I'm just saying the Packers didn't go out of their way to support these guys. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, it's not really what they do. They trust the quarterback to like carry it.
Let me just say, for being a fan from a team that has consistently gone out and tried to draft these wide receivers and tight ends in the first round over and over and over, and have personally sat through the aftermath of drafting these wide receivers early, as much as Brett Favre and fans all around Green Bay may be disappointed, they might be onto something.
Hey, well, here's the thing. The math of it all is you draft Jordan Love, who Aaron Rodgers is a 4-year extension. If he plays that out, you have to extend Love to his 5th year. You have him for 1 year. Therefore, you're doing this either intentionally trying to blow up the relationship with Aaron Rodgers, or you're banking on him getting injured year 2, which
that's
what. And by the way, everyone wants to timeline this with Aaron Rodgers. Remember, Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre got hurt for a little bit, and it was Aaron Rodgers who came in midseason during a game versus the Cowboys in the second half, looked really good, gave the Packers the confidence. And Brett was so pissed about the whole situation that he like threatened to retire every year, and it just ruined the relationship. Fans hated him the way he left. So I mean, it wasn't pretty. If you want it to work out that way, it wasn't pretty. So the logistics of this working out just mathematically aren't good, but. Whatever. If in 2-3 years Jordan Love's coming in looking like a boss, I'll be here smoking a cigar inside just for the show. Like 3rd in a row, baby.
If it works out 3rd in a row, I mean, the Packers are gonna rise up I really dislike your team scale. My dad and I, we were Cowboys fan, but he always has this respect for these type of small town teams, and you kind of start loving them just a little bit, like this weird stadium that's just there forever, and then you have Green Bay in the middle of nowhere and all the cheesehead and stuff. So you kind of like it. But if they get lucky on a 3rd quarterback, not lucky, but you know what I mean. Do you strike gold 3 times in a row?
That cheese luck, man.
They would start becoming like really you're gonna be good again. Couldn't the Jets get one right?
I will say that if Jordan Love works out, I would definitely let the math speak for itself. In 15 years from now, we're definitely trading up to take another quarterback. I don't even care who it is. We're trading up. It's just, but yeah, it's a bad decision. I don't think this is going to work out. I mean, in one way or another, even if Love is good, who I believe in him, Brett Favre was quoted today as saying it's a huge slap in the face to Aaron Rodgers. If he had to place his money, he's not finishing his career with the Packers, and that's from Brett Favre.
That's why in our chat, said Aaron Rodgers is about to be the next Minnesota Vikings quarterback. I guarantee it's going to go from Kirk Cousins to Aaron Rodgers in Minnesota, whenever that time might be. But that's going to happen. Plus, this is what I've been trying to say for Detroit. I was like, guys, just go draft Tua. Like, that might put us in a predicament with 2 good quarterbacks. That's a bummer, but we can handle it. Green Bay's got a Super Bowl winning quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, arguably one of the best quarterbacks of all time. You can ask many people, and a lot of people will put Aaron Rodgers as one of the top 5 quarterbacks of all time. And they went out and drafted Jordan Love. But Detroit couldn't pull the trigger because Detroit has no balls. And it pisses me off. But I do like our draft.
There's a way to go from one player to another without pissing them off. Look at what the Colts did. I mean, Peyton Manning doesn't hate them. They shipped him off to go win with the Broncos. They moved to their new guy. I mean, it's always going to be.
I don't think it was happy-go-lucky, though. No, but it was down.
There's a better way to. I mean, there's no good way to do it. Hey, by the way, your services are no longer required. Good, best of luck in your future endeavors.
Do you think Tom Brady in New England did a good job?
No. Well, there's no way of doing it well. But I'll say
Dak worked out decently, I would say.
I talked to Packers fans online. They're like, "There's no way Aaron Rodgers leave." I'm like, Tom Brady is a Buccaneer. Darren Rodgers can play for anybody.
The Romo and Dak change was so interesting because like Romo had to swallow his tongue because Dak had him at 9-1 when Romo was ready to come back.
Dak wasn't brought in to replace him initially, though. That just kind of happened.
Exactly. It just happened. And you can't.
Moore was supposed to be the replacement, and then he broke his ankle, and Dak just kind of he had a terrible camp up until that time. And then Kellen went down, and then it was like, I guess let's see what he got. And Prescott just came in against the Rams and like, yeah, I'm a superstar. Don't worry about it. And
Mississippi State, baby.
We should probably talk about the most fantasy relevant player taken of all three of our teams. CD's probably the best, but like we already said, they had a little of a logjam. What about DeAndre Swift? That was a shocker, right? I mean,
extreme shocker.
I don't think anyone saw that coming. And now that, it kind of makes sense now that you look at it on paper. Is Carry on toast? What do you think, Nick?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. This is the same thing I said when we all logged on today. I don't know. Like, if you look at the film, I sat here and watched a bunch of film about Carry on before the draft. He is elite. He's a very good pass catching running back. He is a good running back in general. We're gonna bring DeAndre Swift in to be our Theo Riddick. That's gonna be the outlier.
That was never good.
That's what's going to happen. He is going to be our pass-catching running back. He is not going to be the every-down running back, in my opinion. I think we're going to stick with Carry on. And I think both of them as a tandem could be elite. I think the draft pick is fun. I think it's exciting for a lot of Lions players. It's not what I wanted. I graded it last night on my Lions Ball podcast. I graded it a C. I think the pick is very mediocre. When it happened,
you were freaking out.
Wait, what?
When it happened, you were freaking out. I remember in the chat, you're like, yes!
I was freaking out.
Because you were just like, what?
It's just because it is fun. But overall, the pick is not that great. Fantasy purposes, I don't know. I have no idea what to think about it.
It's weird, right? It's weird.
I have no idea what to think about it.
DeAndre Swift is the Star Wars prequels. First, you're kind of like, oh my gosh. And then you're like, well.
Where do you guys rank him? Because, first, do you guys on the Hilaire train? Because I'm not. I shouldn't say I'm not off the train. He's not my one. I know landing spot boosts your value, but it doesn't make you the automatic one. I still got Jonathan Taylor, who was the one, and goes behind the Colts. Because you got everyone like, oh, Hilaire. Now he's on the Chiefs. How great is that? Guess what? Damian Williams is probably better than Marlon Mack. If nothing else, they're pretty close.
Whoa, I'm going to fully disagree with what you just said. You just said Damian Williams is better than Marlon Mack?
I think it's nowhere. I think it's close. I think at worst it's close. I think that anyone thinking that Hilaire and Williams is not a problem, and then you got Taylor and Mack, and you're calling Mack a huge problem, but Taylor is so much better than Hilaire. It's basically not a Williams. It's not a Williams Mack thing. It's how are you moving Hilaire above Jonathan Taylor, who's superior in every way, behind a better offensive line, who doesn't have anyone behind him
because of Patrick Mahomes.
No. I know that the fit is good.
Yeah, like you just.
But I don't think it's enough to. I don't think it's enough to leapfrog Jonathan Taylor in his situation, though.
So let's tie this in with the fantasy
dynasty,
the rookie mock draft we did yesterday. You picked Jonathan Taylor first overall. I was drunk at the wheel, but you picked for me, and you picked who I wanted. I wanted Hilaire, and you wanted Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah,
and I think you're banking on Hilaire just getting so many touchdowns.
This is Dynasty too. This is Dynasty too. Because I think in redraft, you can maybe put more eggs in the basket of maybe Hilaire coming out of the gate in that system and making some noise for 2020. In Dynasty,
that's what the show is about, though. The show is about redraft. The show is not about Dynasty, in my opinion, right? Like in this show,
you don't do rookie drafts for redraft.
I don't know. Fuck it. We should start to establish it. Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be a way better way to draft if you did two separate drafts? So then you got the best of both worlds 2 different times. Like, I feel like that would be the way to go in redrafts. I'm coining that. We need to start doing redrafts, regular draft, and then rookie draft.
So if we're assuming this is, let's talk about the two of them and really dig into them from the 2 different angles then, and start off with Dynasty. In Dynasty, I think these 2 are neck and neck, and it's almost a coin toss who you prefer. And with that, I'm giving the edge to Hilaire because of the quarterback, and that I know that the quarterback is going to be there. With Rivers, 1-2 years, And what are they doing after that? Because if Rivers is Rivers, the Colts are gonna end up being 9-7 or whatever, how many games we're freaking playing now. They're gonna be average, maybe make the playoffs. They're not gonna be bad enough to get an early pick, in my opinion. And not early, 5th or 6th overall pick is the worst they're gonna get with Rivers.
Are people isn't it a little bit of an overreaction? Because where was Hilaire before the draft?
Okay, can I just jump in real quick to say that before we figure out where Hilaire was, I did a FF Mercs consult. Represent Matt and FF Mercs real quick. Shameless plug. And I had one of them. And the guy's draft asked me in Dynasty, he's like, man, who should I get? I have the 2nd overall pick. And I said, get Clyde Edwards-Hilaire. This is the guy you're going to want. I guarantee he goes to Kansas City. I mocked it in January. I mocked it again in February. And I mocked it again in March. You just knew this fit. I did not think he would be the first running back off the board. When we did our first round mock draft, when we got to Kansas City, y'all had him picking Jeff Gladney. And I told you it would be Clyde Edwards-Hilaire. You knew this fit was perfect. Patrick Mahomes pushed for this. Patrick Mahomes did not push for Darwin Thompson. Patrick Mahomes did not push for Damian Williams. Patrick Mahomes wanted CEH on his team. And there is a reason for that.
I don't think he said anything. I think this is Andy Reid, who was quoted as saying he's a better version of Brian Westbrook.
If you don't think Pat Mahomes jumped in the ear of Andy Reid, I think you're crazy. I think he literally got in and was saying,
I think Andy Reid. I think this pick has Andy Reid written all over it. That's all.
Brian Westbrook 2.0. Do you remember Brian Westbrook's best years in Philadelphia? You have to, right? Brian Westbrook's best years in Philly. This is what you're getting right now. And I think in redraft, I think he might be your best bet, but I'm not counting. Honestly, it'll probably be like Cam Akers. It'll be the best rookie running back.
That's that was actually my best thing. Is it's just you're taking Clyde and you're putting him at number 1 overall because of fit. Where by the end of the year, Cam Akers could be in just a fantastic fit.
But that's not the argument. That's not. I bring that up. I just
have Jonathan. I just like Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor is the argument.
No, I know. I'm just saying like the argument for Clyde is fit. Where Taylor has a good fit, and he's just better in every way.
But he doesn't. He doesn't have a good fit because Marlon Mack is there, and Marlon Mack is a 1,000-yard rusher, and we've seen it.
I think he's gone off the team next year.
And that I'm not arguing that. But I'm talking in dynasty purposes. Also, by the way, I'll still take CEH.
Redraft. I think I already conceded before this. I think Clyde's probably the guy in redraft. Yeah, I will agree with that.
So in redraft, then if the argument is about dynasty in redraft, we're going CEH, Cam Akers, or Jonathan Taylor. Because I like Cam Akers. I like everything coming into that except one thing.
Are we talking dynasty or redraft?
Redraft. He said redraft.
I'm worried about. I don't know what the hell they're going to do with that timeshare and redraft. I don't know.
Darrell Henderson isn't going anywhere.
No, but that old line is terrible. Terrible. It was ranked worst last year, worst or second worst in every ranking.
You know, it's funny. The redraft is tough because a lot of these guys are interesting, but they have like Dobbins. I love it, but what the hell are they doing there?
It's too many mouths there too.
Gus, you got Justice, you got Dobbins, you got
Ingram's still starting.
Ingram is still number 1.
I mean, I love the fit long term. For redraft, I don't even know.
Vaughn, is it too many mouths to feed in Tampa too? For any of these rookies to come in and be a rookie running back, usually you'll find one like Philip Lindsay when he was a rookie, blanking just for whatever reason. But usually 1 or 2 rookies make an impact. This year, it feels difficult to find that guy who's just gonna come in and be amazing. Except to me, Clyde Edwards-Hilaire, because he has Mahomes who's going to put them in the red zone literally every freaking time he touches the ball, pretty much.
I think he has the same timeshare problem everyone else is going to have.
Yeah, and that's the reason I would go with him.
He's going to timeshare with who? Damian Williams, who had an average of 7 carries a game in the regular season last year.
I don't like Damian Williams, but when he's healthy, he's fine. And they like him enough there. I think he's going to be the guy until he's booted off.
LaShawn McCoy over him. What do you mean they like him? They don't want him. They do everything they can to get rid of him, and then playoff come, and he's the only guy, and they're like, well, shit. Like, let's go with it. But I don't know.
I think it'll be both. I think he wants to run with multiple guys at this point. I think Clyde fits into the system good, but I think it's going to be the same.
I think it's pretty much. I think what you're doing is also comparing the same thing as like Cam Akers to Malcolm Brown. Like Malcolm Brown is my Damian Williams. Like they're nothing. They're absolutely nothing. Playoffs. That's a different story. Damian Williams has showed us 2 years in a row in playoffs that he can be phenomenal. He has showed us 1 year that he can put up 3 straight 20-point games in fantasy, and that was 2 years ago. Last year he couldn't do it. This year I'm not worried. Like Damian Williams is just I don't know. In my opinion, he is the least person I'm worried about. And then to Carl's question, which is CEH the best running back in fantasy out of all the rookies? As much as I want to say Kerryon Johnson is going to be good, DeAndre Swift is the best running back in this draft class. So if you're going to go on the best prospect,
but he has the best competition, probably.
But does
he?
Like
Jonathan Taylor has Marlon Mack is a good competition. Kerryon Johnson is a good competition. Mark Ingram. Those are some difficult competitions to have.
Yeah.
All right, real quick.
Damian Williams
this is unfair to some of the guys we're talking about because they all have different roles to play. Some catch the ball, some run the ball. If you had to bank on one of these guys being a bell cow next season, who are you banking on? That's where my Jonathan Taylor love comes from. Again, dynasty. If I had to put my money on some guy being a Zeke, it's Jonathan Taylor, and no one else can. Not even interested in putting a bet on anyone else.
Well, I don't know. I'll take that bet. I'll take J.K. Dobbins easily. And
I'm going to go with DeAndre Swift because I'm banking on Kerryon getting hurt.
I do like Dobbins. I do like that fit for the dynasty. I really do.
If Mark Ingram's gone next year, you're going to have Justice Hill be your PPR running back, your Theo Riddick. Great.
I'd still rather have Taylor, but Dobbins he's good. I like that fit.
Let's take that bet. Let's do a bet. Come on. What do you got?
Do the bet. I don't want to root against Dobbins. I love Dobbins.
I don't want to root against Taylor. I like Indy. I love him.
That's a couple of kick-ass fits right there. I like it.
Agreed in the bell cow role, but let's be all honest. What are we talking about? Are we talking about 1996 running backs right now?
No, here I guess
there aren't bell cow running backs.
I guess the thing with Hilaire, right, is like, I mean, you Patrick Mahomes is great. I mean, he's obviously going to ace out this argument that I'm about to do, but he's there versus Damian Williams. You got Cam Akers versus Darrell Henderson, and then you got Keyshawn Vaughn versus Ronald Jones.
Ronald fucking Jones.
I'm just saying, like. I don't know. We've seen what Tom Brady can do with pass catching backs.
Yep.
It wouldn't shock me if he ends up, if Roy Jones, I keep calling him Roy Jones. If Ronald Jones, Ronald Jones is up, and it wouldn't shock me if he, catapulted up into the very top of the class.
I fully agree with.
There's so many other guys that gonna want the football,
but not in the backfield.
Yeah, no, but like. You know what I mean? But then again, Bruce Arians has been very darn good with pass catching running backs. So when he had DJ, that was lethal. That was lethal. I'm coming around on this one. Before we do that, we have had a lot of interaction in the chat, and I wanted to get your opinions.
Yeah, let's hear some chat. Let me hear the people. What do you guys think about my Fulton Lions head chat room?
Yeah, what do you think of the spinning Detroit Lions head? And
pretty fucking cool.
Travis is with the Hilaire over Taylor. Liprecht says Mercedes Lewis was a first round that caught A-Rod's touchdown.
Even though he's a tight end. It was wide receivers only. It was wide receivers only.
It was wide receivers.
But that receivers only. Was not tight ends.
That could have been one though, right? Even though it's a tight end, I'm saying like that definitely was a first round pick.
He was a first round pick?
According to wait a minute. When was he drafted, and what pick was he drafted? Because I don't think I remember Mercedes Lewis being a first round draft pick. And if that is correct, well done, Mercedes or whoever just looked that up. I was about to call him Mercedes Lewis.
It was a Liprecht, and I want to see draft round 1, pick 28, 2006.
Wow.
Yeah, I was young.
But and we're confirmed that Mercedes Lewis caught a touchdown from Aaron Rodgers. This is all back checked.
Probably did, but again, it was wide receiver though. So
yeah, it's wide receiver.
Sure it was wide receiver. Yeah,
it's not the answer, but it's still
because Mercedes Lewis caught more than one touchdown in Green Bay.
And then we have M.
But good try. Yeah,
that was a good answer though.
It's a good answer.
Mr. Few 93 asked us if we think Gronk and Brady will kill it in Tampa. I think Brady is going to be good, and I think Gronk is going to be on a snap count.
I don't want either of them where their ADPs are. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, for sure. And then Travis says rumors about the Edwards-Helaire is that they asked Mahomes on which running back he wanted. And his biggest sleeper is DJ Dallas. Running back, where did he go again? Seattle. I do not want that. I never want Seattle running backs. If I have to get anybody
Marshawn
there,
Lynch was pretty good. I don't know if you knew that, but he was
but after him, it's only been like time.
Chris Carson was like a top 10 running back last year.
I've drafted Chris Carson last year. I was a big proponent of him, but I would never go like Rashad Penny and stuff. They've usually gone by committee, which end up somebody gets hurt, and their offensive line has not been as good lately since Marshawn left too. I'm not a big proponent on running backs that they bring in.
I don't agree. I would like Seattle running backs. I don't mind them. I don't think they go into a committee until injuries happen. But until an injury happens, I think they're a very bell cowish running back, very old school running back style. And if that's Chris Carson, then I want him. If that's Penny,
but I don't want the second or third guy with Penny or DJ.
Okay, I can agree with that. Yeah.
But I want to get back to what Matt was talking about earlier, Keyshawn Vaughn, because I do think that is a sneaky one because he probably has the worst competition of anybody. Rojo is not good.
No, he's not.
Like he's not good.
And Peyton Barber's gone.
Yeah, because Peyton Barber, he hangs out at Lenox Mall here in Atlanta. There's. Are you worried about the coronavirus when you go to Lenox Mall? No, you're worried about getting shot.
Oh my.
No, Peyton, he left his playbook tablet in the parking lot and got it stolen a few years back.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's hilarious. And that mall has been getting shot up a buttload of times. But otherwise, like, he has the competition is terrible. He has Brady, who loves a pass-catching running back. Zach Moss, I find it interesting to bring into Buffalo. I still don't think that impacts Singletary too much. I like that they brought in.
They're all on the Devin Singletary train. So high on it. And I was telling you before pre-draft, don't buy into Devin Singletary this year. This isn't his year. This isn't his team. This isn't the guy you want. This isn't the guy we thought it was. I'm not saying I love Zach Moss over Devin Singletary or anything like that, but I am just saying that I'm avoiding Singletary when it comes to his turn in drafts right now. And I'll gladly take a late flyer on Moss over Singletary. Singletary didn't impress me. He
was fantastic.
And that's just me. I don't know. Yeah, he didn't impress me. I can't take him.
What about, okay, so one guy that has pretty much never been hurt, Derrick Henry, but got run into the ground. I'm looking to maybe sneak, I can't pronounce his first name, but D. Evans later on in draft and just hope that the treads, that they ran him into the ground a little bit last year.
Wasn't that why everyone owned Derrick Henry to begin with? Because his predecessor was ran into the ground before being shipped off to Philadelphia? I mean, it's the same thing.
He went the other way.
Oh, Dallas. Oh, no.
Dallas Eagles Titans.
Yep.
But he did literally get run into the ground. He needed a year to recuperate. He had one good year in Tennessee, DeMarco Murray, before he got terrible again. So I think if Henry needs a year where he's going to be tired and terrible, why not take a flyer at Evans?
If I looked distracted, I was looking up the list of every wide receiver to catch a touchdown from Aaron Rodgers, and I still don't know the answer. And I'm looking at the entire list. I don't know who was in the first round here. By the way, he did not catch a touchdown pass. Did not get thrown to
Mercedes
Lewis. Jimmy Graham and Jermichael Finley are on this list. Eddie Lacy, was he first round?
Yeah, absolutely. 7th pick.
Maybe he count. But
it's wide receivers. It's not running.
If it's wide receivers here, I'll go through it real quick because there's actually not too many. Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, Greg Jennings, Donald Driver, James Jones, Devontae Adams, Richard Rod. No, he's a tight end. Geronimo Allison, Jeff Janis, Jake Kumaro, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Andrew Corliss, Trevor Davis, Robert Tonyan, Brandon Jackson, Tom Crabtree, Donald Lee, Lance Kendricks, Jared Boykin, Brandon Bostwick, Corey Hall, Ruvel Martin, Spencer Havner, Justin Perello, and Ryan Taylor. That's it. I didn't hear a first-round pick in there. It's got to be a tight end or a running back that they're counting.
We'll double-check this. Next episode, we'll come back with a little verification. Hopefully someone in the chat can go on, Google what we're talking about, go do some legwork for us, you know what I mean? Like, we're out here trying to produce. You go do a little legwork.
We're saying maybe it wasn't 1. Maybe it was 0.
But couldn't it have been somebody that they traded for?
No, these are literally, this is a list of anyone who has ever caught a touchdown pass from Aaron Rodgers. I just listed everybody.
Oh, okay.
The only people I left out were tight ends and running backs, like James Starks and guys like that.
That's when was the last time they took a first-round wide receiver?
Well, they didn't take one. They haven't taken one since Aaron's been around.
2002.
Wow,
that's a while ago. That's
quite a bit. It's insanity.
It's crazy. And Travis says there's 0 wide receivers, and Melo says last year 54% of the snaps were undrafted wide receivers compared to drafted for the Packers.
Yeah, we have more. I think the last time I checked, we have 14 offensive linemen on the team and only 9 wide receivers, and half of them are undrafted.
Whew.
It's insane.
Okay, Nick is doing something, but let's just do you and me here. What wide receiver would you have preferred on the Packers? CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Jeudy?
Probably Lamb. Go out deep. That would probably be the way to go. I would have been fine with Love, like as the first round pick, if they'd at least come back and gone with Higgins or something in the second round, and they could have, and they just passed on it. But it's just so strange.
Did they even have to do that trade up for Love though? Who else was looking that?
I read that they were really worried the Colts were going to, because they didn't have a first round pick and they were sitting there in the second round. They thought, because there was a lot of rumors the Colts were trying to move up. And I don't know. I don't think they had to move up. I don't. But that's who they were afraid of. The Packers thought the Colts were going to jump up. Because last year, a lot of people don't know this, the Packers were taking Drew Lock. It was a done deal. They were pissed. The Broncos moved and traded up one spot in front of them because it got out we were taking Lock. They wanted him last year. So I guess they just didn't want that history to repeat itself. So they moved up to get Jordan Love. Again, I don't like the move, but I think they were scared of the Colts coming up and grabbing him.
I do like drafting quarterbacks pretty much every other year for football, not fantasy. I'm not saying fantasy here or for fantasy purposes, just for football. I do like when teams just keep throwing darts. Eventually, you'll get something. Just keep drafting him. The Patriots always done that, and then just like, oh, let's trade him away. We spent a 5th round pick on him, and he looked good one game. Let's get a 2nd rounder for Matt Castle.
Packers do it all the time. Our backups, we trade. Who's Flynn? We traded him. We traded him for like nothing, or for a lot. Who's the coach? Was it Jimmy Johnson? Former Cowboys coach. Is he the one who was quoted as saying the most important job in all of football is quarterback? Who said that?
That's the guy who won stuff with the Redskins.
Joe Grubbs.
Casserly.
No.
What was he? The most important job on the field is quarterback. The second most important job is backup quarterback.
Yeah, and the third most important is the backup quarterback. You have to say it like, a little bit like that.
But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people. Ask the Eagles who won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. There's plenty of other teams who did not win a Super Bowl because they did not have a Nick Foles. Ask the Raiders a few years ago when they were on their way and Derek Carr went down, which, I mean, there's a lot of people that.
It's Connor Cook here. Hey, it's Michigan State boys, Spartan Dogs.
But there's people just fall on their ass and they got nowhere to go.
Even Brock Osweiler have a Super Bowl ring.
And he helped out in that.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, he was decent enough to be a backup quarterback.
First African-American quarterback to win a Super Bowl was a backup for Mark Rypien, who went down. And Doug Williams came in 2 different times as a backup quarterback and won him a Super Bowl.
Tom Brady.
Who is I should know all these names. For some reason I'm blanking. Who is the backup to to Patrick Mahomes last year. He actually
Matt Moore.
He did a good job.
Dude, I loved him in Miami, dude. He did a good job when Ryan Tannehill went down.
That was a heck of a Hard Knocks, though, with Matt Moore and Ryan Tannehill, because Tannehill was acting such a prima donna, like, I want my money. Of course you do want your money, but they made him look really bad.
Yeah.
And Matt Moore just looked like the chillest dude ever.
I'd rather watch that or any other Hard Knocks ever, except for this damn Oakland Raiders one last year where it was all about Antonio Brown. It was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, dude.
I think that was the first one I didn't watch. And I heard it was, I couldn't bear.
It wasn't worthwhile. Matt, stop looking at the damn wide receivers for the Packers. You're not going to find a first. It's
driving me insane, man.
Well, it's fun, though, because it will drive, stuff like this will drive you insane.
That's why we do this podcast, man, because we like to bullshit about that shit.
Yeah, and you just go down the rabbit hole. I know we haven't touched too much on the draft.
It's been a full rabbit hole episode.
It's kind of been all draft-y related.
Yeah,
yeah, we have been draft-y related.
Well, I mean, how about whatever? We don't talk about Superflex much, so we don't have to get into Tua and Herbert because they're kind of not worth talking about in redraft. Yeah. But how about the other wide receivers?
Thank you. We haven't talked to any wide receivers. How do we rank these boys? It's different for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I think Rager, even though Eagles fans were a little upset, I mean, just from a landing spot point of view, who else is catching the ball there? Oh, Mims is good. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, yell out your favorite. There's a lot of good spots, right?
Yeah.
Goldie, Gandon Goldie. I mean, Golden Gandy. I can't even think of it.
Laviska Shenault.
Shenault is a great
Get some mustache touchdowns in there.
Yeah.
I'll gladly take him in Jacksonville. I'll gladly take Mims at the Jets. I'll gladly take Lamb at the Cowboys. I don't think it'll be awful in any way. Getting him in dynasty rookie drafts, you might be reaching for him depending on where you're getting him. But there's a lot of wide receivers to like right
Michael
now, right?
Pittman is interesting.
Are we just going to sit here and like talk about Henry Ruggs like he is like this guy? He might be the biggest to bust of the first rounds, but he also landed in freaking Oakland, who threw the ball 187 times to freaking Darren Waller last year. I think Henry Ruggs is going to blow up this year. I'm getting Ruggs everywhere I can.
Yeah, I think Mims and Ruggs are two of my absolute favoriits for this year because targets is key. It's always key as fine as in fantasy. Targets is key. Without targets, you're not scoring. The only wide receiver that is like viable without targets is Tyler Lockett. Like he doesn't need more than 100 targets.
Viable this year, boys. Get him off your team. Go to DK.
Calm down. Both of them are going to be viable. Trust me. Both of them are good because they only need 100 targets. They're big play guys. Russell Wilson has the sexiest deep ball in the NFL. He can have both of them be viable.
In redraft, I think I would, because of where he's going to go. I mean, I would probably skip CD and guys like that just because I'm not sure what they're going to do. The people that would jump out to me as far as a value where they're probably going to go in drafts versus being able to help year one. I love Justin Jefferson because obviously Diggs is gone. Thielen has proven to be somewhat unreliable to be a number one all the time now. Even though they're going to run the ball a lot more. I mean, he seems to be well on his way to get a lot of targets. And you mentioned him earlier, Michael Pittman. Obviously their big star there can't stay healthy at all. So, there's a lot of interesting freaking people. In redraft, there's going to be a whole clump of people going towards the middle that are all going to be super interesting.
It's kind of funny, real quick. I threw up ADP on Fantasy Football Calculator, which is what I always go off of. Right here, you said a big clump in the middle. It literally starts out Henry Ruggs, 2 picks at 11th round, 10th pick, 12th round, first pick Jalen Reagor, 5th pick in the 12th round, Jerry Jeudy, 5th pick in the 12th round, CeeDee Lamb, 6th pick in the 12th round, Michael Pittman, 8th pick in the 12th round, Justin Jefferson, 8th pick in the 12th round, Denzel Mims, 10th pick in the 12th round, T. Higgins. Literally a clump of these wide receivers, and that's why it's so fun to talk about because everyone ranks these guys, especially now that we see the landing spots, differently. And it's so much fun to talk about. Like J.J. Arcega-Whiteside last year, rookie, comes right in after. Brashard Perryman at the Jets, Auden Tate with the Bengals, John Ross with the Bengals, Josh Gordon with the Seahawks.
There's a lot of Bengals receivers now.
Chase Claypool
There's
at
too
Pittsburgh.
many.
Are we going to talk about
that's one in redraft. I don't think I touch. I don't think I'm touching Higgins.
Yeah, there's a lot of AJ Green, Tyler Boyd, John Ross, T. Higgins.
There's one landing spot I absolutely love. He's in a definite logjam of sorts himself, but Tyler Johnson lining up with Tom Brady in the slot in Tampa. I love that. More dynasty than anything, but if they were to make a move, like there was rumors they were going to maybe try to move Evans out, Tyler Johnson's someone that he was taken later because of like all sorts of issues with like character and stuff. But I mean, you have to
like participate in the combine. I don't know. Tyler Johnson is like the one wide receiver that I'm not drafting at all anywhere ever. It doesn't matter where you go.
What's the thing without his off the field crap? He's just one of those people that he easily could have been a second round pick. He's a beast.
I'd rather take Quintez Cephas with Detroit over Tyler Johnson in Tampa Bay just because Cephas is a better wide receiver in general and had a piss poor quarterback at Maryland. Like but even with Kenny Galladay, DeAndre Swift, Kerryon Johnson, Marvin Jones, TJ Hawkinson, Danny Amendola, Geronimo, it doesn't matter because Cephas is a good enough talent, and Matthew Stafford will realize that.
The defense is bad enough. Tyler Johnson. The defense is bad enough to where you have to throw the ball 600 times.
Probably with Matt Patricia running the defense.
Yeah, like he's supposed to be a defensive guru. They're like, yeah, trade away everybody who's worth anything.
I'm a Lions fan. I give it one more year. I believe in Patricia for one more year. I think he's a defensive genius still. There's a reason why people want to come to Detroit.
There's just so many of these guys, man. There's so many.
Is it free real estate?
Yes.
The reason? Yeah, I thought so. I've seen the videos. So, this is free real estate.
I have a room to rent for anyone who wants to come to Detroit. Man, I'll rent it right now. Hey, if Jadeveon Clowney wants to come to Detroit, I got a guest room
for free.
For free. You don't got to pay shit. We can party all night. I don't care. Let's go.
The only thing you would want is tickets to the games, and he can stay with you for free. Jadeveon Clowney. I wouldn't
even need that, man. That motherfucker can stay with me for free. I wouldn't need anything. I'll watch him on my couch every game day and say, "That motherfucker lives with me." All right.
No, but if we're doing a quick 1, 2, 3 wide receivers who we got now before we go any deeper into them, and I'll start.
You mean besides the obvious top 3? Or we?
No, you're like, in what order are you drafting? You're going 1, 2, and 3.
The obvious top 3, but are we doing dynasty or redraft?
Redraft, PPR.
This is a good question.
I want to be
last. I call last. Dibs.
I'm going Ruggs, Mims, and Pittman.
In redraft, I am going Judy for sure. I think it's Judy giant gap. Ruggs, Lamb.
This is so tough, boys.
I just can't take Lamb off my top 3. It's a principle thing.
I'm a Cowboys fan, but in PPR, I'm worried because it's still he's still a first year receiver with 2 1,000-yard receivers ahead of him. Yeah, but with 2 1,000-yard receiver ahead of them.
I'm not going to argue with you. You're right.
Yeah, one just got a new contract.
He's so good. I can't.
And Michael Gallup, I've looked into Michael Gallup quite a lot this offseason, and I had him before this pick as a breakout player. Now I'm reevaluating that a little bit, giving some of the targets to CD from Gallup, but it's still, I don't think he's going to see as many targets as some of these other guys. I think Michael Pittman, for instance, is going to see a lot more targets. Same with Jerry Jeudy. You know how I feel about Cortland Sutton. He's the number 1 guy there. He's just going to get hammered with targets.
If you wanted me to say who do I think I'm going to predict ends this season with the most fantasy points in PPR, yes. I'm going to say Jeudy, Ruggs, and Mims.
That's what the question is. Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah. No, I thought we were taking if you had to draft them.
No.
Like I would never. If you gave me the pick of 3, I'm never taking those guys.
The 2 finish the top 3 overall. Not saying where you're gonna draft them. Hopefully, you can get a steal.
Yeah, the Jeudy 1, and Ruggs and Mims.
And what did you say, Carl?
I had Ruggs, Mims, and Pittman.
Man, so number 1 easily. Oh, there's my boy coming in. Number 1 is Henry Ruggs.
It has to be right.
Like it's Henry fucking Ruggs. Like this guy's just gonna. It's just Oakland. It's just Las Vegas.
Doesn't that 4.0 ADOT hurt you a little bit? Like,
not at all.
It doesn't matter how fast you are if the ball never
he
gets there.
didn't have anyone last year. He had Darren Waller.
I know, but his ADOT's been like kind of trash for years, right?
Because even with Amari Cooper, he's only had one wide. Even Amari Cooper and Jordan Nelson sucked. It was his rookie year. Like there is so many like different underlaying onion layers to peel off of this. I'm telling you.
Hey, I would take him as my 2. I don't know why I'm really arguing with you. He's my 2.
Yeah, you're treating him like he's my
he's trash. Put him behind Hamler.
Matt, man of the people, Williams, quote, Henry Ruggs is trash.
The coin master. Henry Ruggs is trash.
Yeah, Travis is done with us. He's like, consensus. Y'all agree Ruggs is top 3. Just move on.
Yes.
That's what the chat thinks.
Denzel Mims, number 2. His role in the Jets in New York is far superior than anyone else's, even Rieger's in Philadelphia, because Sam Darnold is way better than anyone wants to give him credit for. Sam Darnold is a beast who got, I don't know, hurt, quote unquote. He got mono last year. He didn't play last year. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I don't think that's being hurt.
What role do you think that Mims has? What would you call his role?
I think his role is to step in and be more, not where Jamison Crowder is going to be your everyday 8-9 target a game player. He's going to be more of your Marvin Jones, 6 to 7 targets, more of the deep threat, more 15 plus yards, 15 like in between 10 to 20 yard catches, and he will gather 60 to 120 yards a game with 4 to 6 receptions a game.
Again, he was my 3. Just for you guys, I want you to answer this. The big worry I would have, and I have him at 3 anyway for all the reasons you just said. Crowder will be sucking up the little tiny, he'll be the lower end Jarvis Landry type. He'll be down in the, in near the line of scrimmage. Are we not worried, even as a rookie? Are we not worried about Mims being kind of plagued out of the game by the defense, because he's kind of the only guy to worry about? Because they don't have it. I mean, they got Mims for a reason. They had nobody, but now they have nobody else.
I absolutely, by the way, am worried about every single rookie wide receiver we talk about. Yeah. All these guys are not guys I'm going to draft in the 8th, 9th, 10th round. I don't care if you had 87 great first-round talent wide receivers come out in this year's draft. A rookie wide receiver is piss poor 96% of the time. I'm not going to go out and draft any of these rookie wide receivers expecting 1,500 yards and 12 touchdowns. Like, it's just improbable. Do I think, though, that Denzel Mims can catch 8 touchdowns and 800 yards? 900 yards. I do think he can in the Jets. And I think he has a better opportunity than Rieger does in Philadelphia, or Pittman does, or even CeeDee Lamb does. Like, I think CeeDee Lamb's a better wide receiver, but in stats wise, fantasy wise, I think it's a better chance for Mims to catch more. And as Carl alluded to, targets are everything. Yeah, I think there are more targets to go around in New York, even with Crowder getting his 10 targets a game, over a lot of these other wide receivers. But by the way, 3rd, Jerry Jeudy. He is the best wide receiver that came out this year, better than CeeDee Lamb. Judy's going to be fine, even with Noah Fant. And
is Drew Lock the big winner of the draft? Because they knew that. I mean, they drafted a couple of guys for him as well.
Yeah, no, they went 2.
It's going to be Baker Mayfield all over again. He's going to be the 6th pick quarterback, and he's just going to bust.
Oh yeah, don't go crazy drafting Drew Lock and
I don't think people will.
Don't do that. I like Lock, and I'm going to be drafting Cortland Sutton. We all know this, but please do not go freaking Drew Lock in round 4 thinking he's the next Patrick Mahomes.
But it's the same thing that we saw with Baker last year.
You know what's funny that from what I've seen, there's a lot of people that get hyped and overhyped. I don't think there's enough behind Dak. I don't think people truly understand yet. Maybe by the time the season gets closer, people will be onto this.
Dak was the best quarterback last year.
There's still like so much helium on Kyler, and I mean Dak. I mean, look at the weapons this guy has. It's insane.
Oh yeah,
plus the best offensive line.
I'm not so sure he shouldn't be too. Right.
I looked into this because a few days ago, because I got mad about this as well. Carson Wentz is going like 3 picks later in drafts than Dak. So good. Put up on CSD Fantasy Instagram head to head. Who'd you pick, Dak or or Wentz. I don't think I've had anybody who says Wentz. Even though the ADP is like right on top of each other, I don't know. It seems like people who follow us understand that Dak is the better pick.
Well, no, how old is Wentz? 28, 29? How old is he?
No, is he that old?
26, 27?
Is he 27?
That would be
the point is, what Aaron Rodgers is what, 36?
27.
Let's hold on before I get lumped into this. Am I going to say that Dak Prescott's better than Carson Wentz?
For fantasy? Fantasy. We're talking fantasy football.
Nah, I'm not gonna.
I'm talking every football. For God's sakes, I was saying the Aaron Rodgers, people are pissed they drafted Jordan Love to replace a 36-year-old. The Philadelphia Eagles traded up to draft a quarterback to replace the 26 or 27-year-old.
I don't think that's going to impact.
They don't even believe in him. I don't think that's going to impact
this year fantasy football. I truly don't. Carson showed us he can play 16 games last year. He could. He did. He didn't play in the playoffs, but he played 16 games in the regular season. Yeah. That's what fantasy counts about. That's what we talk about. We talk about fantasy. He showed us he can do it last year. Yeah. He also lost every single weapon known to man. Right? He was playing with AAF third-string wide receivers and Denzel.
By the way, since you're defending him, why does everyone hate Jalen Reagor? Because I brought him up. I think you both got the stink face on. Why do we hate
don't like Reagor because of his combine. I was very impressed by Reagor, very impressed by his return skills, his hands, and then I saw the combine, and I thought it was just lackluster. He lacked the it concept that I wanted out of a wide receiver. I have no faith in him now.
And I think the Eagles can't draft a wide receiver because we destroyed that for them.
At best, what is his competition is J-Jaw and Deshaun Jackson. I mean, the target.
Jeffrey's still there. What are we talking about?
Jeffrey's not really there. He's there in spirit.
No, Alshon's still there. We assume all health. If we assume all health, there's no reason why Reagor is not being the third to even fourth wide receiver on that team. J-Jaw was a second-round pick last year. Reagor was a first-round this year, and people will sit here because it's NFL, and NFL is, what have you done for me lately? And people will sit here and look at J-Jaw and be like, forget all about his prospect and sit here and look at what he did in the first year and be like, he sucks monkey balls. Let me have the first-round pick this year. And then the first-round pick will bust.
I was very disappointed when there was an opportunity for J-Jaw and they did not let him have it. I was so pumped last year.
I know.
Hopefully we'll see it this year.
He had a good ADOT, though.
Wink, wink. Wink,
wink.
Who's this guy creeping up over here?
Is that Drew Lock?
It's not that he's there. It's the way he was appearing.
He was like trying to creep up to see if he was even on camera. And it was just his face creeping up. That was great. That's a good way to end our show. We're even past time. What are we talking about right now?
Yeah, no, but it's been such a fantastic show that I just let it go. And I do want to thank everybody for joining us here in the chat today. Fantastic. The whole show has been just so many comments. I want to read a few before we sign off. Melo says that Lamb was a steal. Travis agreed with Matt that he likes Reagor. Melo says that Dak is better. Melo says that he want to draft Crowder as well. And Nicholas apologized for leaving the chat. But I do want to thank everybody for joining us here today on YouTube, on Periscope, who's listening in on Google Podcasts later on, Apple Podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, everywhere you're listening into the Fantasy Rabbit Hole. We truly appreciate all y'all. If you haven't done so already, go to CSD Fantasy's YouTube page and subscribe and check out Nick Faber NFL on Twitter. I've got caught off guard by another hairstyle.
I told you I did itself into a mohawk. It looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Check out Matt Williams on Twitter as well. It's Williams with 2 7s instead of L's, and at CSD Fantasy.
Social distancing.
CSD Fantasy.
We've been quarantined the whole time. Hey, social distancing. We're quarantined. Just so everyone watching, I understand it's kind of a big thing.
He's like smelling your hairs.
He was. Well.
And go to CSDFantasy.com for the quarterback and ceiling rankings for wide receivers. For the Fantasy Rabbit Hole, this has been Nick Faber, Matt Williams, Man of the People, and CSD Fantasy. Till next time.
My mic is no longer muted.
Oh, I unmuted my mic too. Let's go, boys.